Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuhu. UDP for Diversity, Alhaji Toure. The Barrow government is discriminatory both in its benchmarking of the former president's bill and the certificate of urgency for the former president's bill. According to NPP's Member of Parliament for Old Yundum, Honorable Abdoulaye Cisse, on 𝒘𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒏𝒆𝒍 show, the Parliament or the government of Adama Barrow conducted a benchmark and also proposed a certificate of urgency ahead of the former president's bill motion in Parliament. The question that comes to mind is, why a benchmark and a certificate of urgency just for the former president's bill, and no benchmark or certificate of urgency for the following? The TRRC recommendations for the victims, the anti-corruption bill, the procurement bill, and the public service reform bill. In other words, why the rush for certificate of urgency for the president's bill and not the other bills, like for example, the new draft constitution? Is the new draft constitution not an urgency for the government of Adama Barrow, as he, Adama Barrow, is yet to have a constitution of his own after almost 8 years in power? Do not forget, Adama Barrow is ruling us and the Gambia by the 1997 constitution, which is a constitution from the era of brutal dictatorship and a one-man constitution. Hence, this former president's bill, contrary to what Honorable Abdoulaye Cisse of Old Yundum claimed, the bill is carved and prepared for Adama Barrow, even though NPP surrogates argue Barrow is not a former president. Yes, we have no qualm with that. But it's no secret also that Barrow is paving the way for life after the presidency. We have misgivings about the way the bill is being presented to the nation and why suddenly the rush. Barrow knows very well he eventually will go, and he must go. But then what else when he goes? That is where this former president's bill came into play, nothing else. Let no one fool you to believe otherwise. The Gambia unfortunately has a leader who is so obsessed and intoxicated for personal wealth and self-aggrandizement. We Gambians refused to be taken for a ride by greedy leaders, and the politics of fame is once and for all over in this country. We are all sick and tired of unsatisfied leaders amongst our midst. No president or leader will come to power again believing he or she can deceive the people, enrich himself or herself and their immediate families and relatives on the detriment of poor Gambians. We got it wrong once with Yahya Jammeh for 22 years, and we currently get it wrong twice with Adama Barrow, not 3 times. At the end of the day, this is our collective resources and collective tax money. How on earth can this be tolerated? Finally, no sensible person is against a well-mannered and a former president to live in dignity and respect after serving diligently his or her 2 terms in office. However, this should only happen in proportion to the wealth of the country and the affordability. Not an excessive and exorbitant lifestyle for a former president when the majority of our people clearly cannot afford 3 meals a day, with poor health care system, poor education system, poor agriculture, erratic, expensive, and poor electricity service, and bad drinking water. Are we really a serious nation caring for our people? Or have we been reduced to a banana republic? We should all really be ashamed of ourselves as a nation after 50 years of independence. Question mark. As a poor nation, we are doing everything wrong. We are doing things that's unimaginable in richer and more developed countries than us. This country has more acute and pressing issues to handle than providing us with 2 presidents at the same time and having to pay for 2 presidents or a king-size former president. We have an acute housing shortages throughout the country, with unscrupulous landlords taking exorbitant rent from helpless tenants. And what is the government doing about that? Contrary to the claims coming from Barrow supporters, the former president's bill is not a pension, but an allowance to the former president. What is a pension plan? A pension plan is an employee benefit that commits the employer to make regular contributions to a pool of money set aside to fund payments made to eligible employees after they retire. What is an allowance plan? An amount of money that is given to someone regularly for a particular purpose. An allowance of $20 a day, a clothing, living, travel allowance. Thank you, Alhaji Toure. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. UDP for diversity anal badi malamu Alhaji Toure ngali konto ngal tentu na UDP dimo be konton kabo UDP la nyaton kolla party leader, deputy party leader, UDP la executive o mol be and UDP militants will be dawranding anal be wato men kono. Yo badi Gambian kolu nata drong nali kacha nying former president's bill men ya pass parliament wala mu president men nabata president yala ba jola men nambe menu kelaya bare ninga korosiro ke arama barola ni mansakunda ay fatam fan so kele ninga nata tubabol ka fo men nako benchmarking wala mu komen ka korosiro ke dula ko ton la ko dol ka ke nyaadile komen kata banku ko ton kan ko dol ka ke nyaadile anim fanan ye fatam fan so ke komen ka hata joke pour ka nyim biro nyim pass ya hata jindi back ya koronton di back pour ka nyim biro pass niaji ben nyim biro pass ta nyamen ya koronton di nyamen ye fatam fan so ke jebe mbella moy roke kan NPP la député o dola e ka fome ko all yundum député o Abdoulaye Cissé NPP la député o me yalon ko telebe all yundum abe kaja ke kan kel fatu ay nintande ko parliament o waranto adama barol man sekunda ye benchmark kele wala mu kataka korosiro ke banko kotongol kan president kotolu ike ka alawanso dila nyaadi le wonto ike mako e nyaadi le ko itol tata yow ke bantala bankol kan anim fanam ye tariyandiro ke pour comme nyim bilo nyin ay pass parliament o nyento bari sa nyinin karo momenti badi gambian kolo wala mo nyintu ko munatin na nyiniye benchmark wala mo kataka kisiro ke bantala bankol kan president kotolu ka ika mako e nyaadile anun jikita ko yoke afrika bankol le kan e make banku kotongol kan bari hani wo nyaaw nyaranding nyinin karo momenti munatin na yenyin benchmark ko ke former president la bilola anin yenyin former president la bilo munan na ya hawjindi munan na ya a korontondi parliament o nyin kon pour ay pass bari mina ni menu fola munan ne mo fanan ke wo nyama munan ne mo fanan hawjindi munan ne man benchmark ko ke wo fanan la men be ko TRRC la recommendation o victim solier na anti corruption below muna ne mol tariyandi muna ne mol fanan ke benchmark kote muna ne mol fanan hatajin na procurement below wala mu komen man sekunda be fengol sanna nyamen silo men yalon ko nyanta lala ni man sekunda be fengol sanna muna no below ni e mo fanan hatajin muna ne mo fanan korontondi muna ne man benchmark ko wo below fanan anin bilo membe ko public service reform bill munatin na imam benjma ko ke wala munatin na imawul fanan hataji munatin wala fanan man korontonde munatin na president wala bilo former president bilo o damma be hataji la o damma be e bo damma katabandi la kawo tariyande bari nyim bil ko tongol be laare badi ngolu alingan hakilol use alingan mira mune bo sabula munatin na ibe ñim bilol be kono bilol men be laare munande be former president la bilo bondi la wo bilol kono e bafula ko wo bilo ni e nyanta wo katabandi la nyanta wo tariyandi la muna mu atariya daliloti muna mu aka katabandi ka tariyandi a dalilo muna mu wote badi ngambe ko mun dalil le beje ni ñinin karo sila dal hakilo ba kan draft constitution ni fon na new draft constitution ni fo man amanke korontoti bam fo e manya no fanan benchmark la bam fo e manya no fanan o fanan hata jindi la kaje ko o fanan jareta koronto la le ko fanan ke certificate of urgency na draft constitution ni bar wol bebe laari yene mira ko bi Adama Barrow kam mara constitution jumal la 1997 constitution me yalon ko dictator constitution olam mo kilim constitution olam bi Adama Barrow be mara kam wo constitution la say mbita kan sanji kese sey bina wala nata hali bi Adama Barrow ma fan sun constitution o soto hali bi badi gambian ko wala atin ko despite Honorable Abdoulaye Cissé, all jundum ye men befo, nyim bilo nyim mo jama majority Gambian ol yajele ko, nyim bilo nyim pour Adama Barrow laid. Handing ayatara ko, NPP ko dolu, kata hani Abdoulaye Cissé, Honorable Abdoulaye Cissé, all jundum dipito, anin NPP ko dolu, hanna tare ka afoko Adama Barrow manke former president. Yes, no lonne Adama Barrow manke former president bari nganyim fanal lonne ko bi Adama Barrow abe tembo men to bi ake mira ala baluwo na botani president yala o fanam be keren bi Adama Barrow be mira kan wala atebe kala nyaadi le na botani president yala andu bi Adama Barrow bo le plan kan andu nyim former president bill amu wallet despite Adama Barrow a manke former president bari lunne bina akuyataye adiyataye Adama Barrow be kala former president wotile andu walatinna birin sign ibe nyim prepare kan aye Adama Barrow fo wati nyim prepare no la fo atake no la fo bari abe député wala le sort la men yalon ko iketa puppet député wala proxy député wala yenin ke Adama Barrow and there is no purpose whatsoever because nin atako Adama Barrow ni man ke pour Adama Barrow muna mu koronto nyinti why the rush muna tinna nyante kala certificate of urgency muna mun rush le beje mun koronto le beje badi ngam yanko mo kana mo nene jang andum nenero tambita janne a bala fa warata bi Gambia ntol nga nyaton ko le sodo me yalon ko fanka maya wala mu wala koti ka fanka maya ndi banko la nafulola anin ka fango kidimandi anin ka fango warandi bi wala mu koti me wasula ni wonte bi nyim bankum be kole ya men kono nyim bankum be toro men kono yaaji ben na healthcare system o be nyamen na jaral bunda be nyamen yaaji ben na sama bunda be nyamen yaaji ben na karambungo bundal be nyamen yaaji ben bi kurango da jawya men be kurango la anin soto baliya men be kurango la yaaji ben jiyo mu problème o tintol la banko ka nyamen nintol ko bi be kukelan former president e men yalon ko hani bankol men yalon ko wolel fanka mayata katambin tolla wol man trawo ko ke kan bin tol be men be ke kan yim bankun kan is wrong be men be ke kan yim bankun kan nyaton ko men beje bi men be ke kan is wrong hani bankol men yalon ko wolel fanka mayata katambi Gambia ite ñuñongol imagine la je ite ñuñongol mirano la je bantol be fuare yaari ñamem o kolalam be kole kala kole men yaalon ko bankol men fangol warata is tembo warata dolde wolte miralo o kusi fal badi gambian ko mafoko bankola former president man nyanna sako president me yaalon ko a daji kata président me yalon ko ay banko buña ay banko dumol buña président me yalon ko banque dictatori président me yalon ko ay nyanto di banko dumol la président me yalon ko ya bula doko men na banko dumol ya bula doko men na ay wo doko ke ayaka nyama fa ya dafa o président o jaretale ka buña ka horoma na ye daha momam balan wala Yaya Jammeh ñine ken na jang sanji muang anim fula Adama Barrow mbe wala sanji sey njawol kono the same thing alin kana som nyaton kolu kana nga nyaton kolu menu keje andu anyanta dannale nga nyaton kolu menu keje ikana ye fangol waran tolti ye fangol tambindi ye la dimbayal tambindi ye la badingol tambindi ye be fisamante yandi Gambia dingol la andum ikaw fisamante yake aninna kodol la aninna nafulol la manyan la sonna la aketale sanji muwannin fula abe kekan sai sanji se abe kekan aketa sinya kilin abe kekan sinya fulan jaw manyan na sonna e sabanjang anyanta dannale nyanta dannale andu ndingam mira ni mum bela nafulol de mbela kodole mu mbela nafulole mu sai mune batinna mbe sonna nyunyon kola mbe fengo mbe tamu fengo mente nka songo ika nyunyon manyal ken mbe fengo la mude kan sondi wala badi wala anu ko ngam men fo mo man balang jang ko banko nyaton ko me yalon ko retired mo man balang ka kuka e sako me yalon ko ayakata banko e kendeke barin tolu mala mu banko sifa nyaadi lete barin na banko mu banko mane balete anno fontolu tonya serious tale bam andu ngamala nyanta kelam tolu bele malote banko dingo be anyanta kelanya malote sanji tallulu anin sey kontol nga independent wasoto hani bi ñin kuusi falle ɓe tama kan toon la banko kan hani bi molka ike lan kan ika borin kan ike tun kan ika ko beken ñatonkol men yanon kon tolle ŋe keje bari wolel kana muru kotake isi tun kan ye lon kan ye don kan adiyate e ñamen bi iko ibina mune kala almost na president fulan be wala sot la banko kan na former president ngol ke king size former president ndenga ko man wala king size former president because difference on membe president ni former president watema I mean andamo do ya batale mune sondi mune ben sondi la wala ukola luwal bejele me former president be balula ni me luwal bejele me ya regulate bari kana kani be kafwama nda be fono la dabare al ya be moy i nyanta men kelaye men nyanta kelaye fi samante akol men nyanta kelaye bari nim atanu fonko banku dumol fanam fongolu ye balu kendo soto tumando baatu nyim fam mota ko nyinin kala mota ko bayla nin ata ko dol banku dumol fanam na balu kendo soto na balu ofisa yata tennun tumando baatu mota nyin ko nyim mota bayla bari din konkobe molla batabe molla ngongana banko be fisa mante akodi nga chika ngadi former president wala anala muso nala dimbayalu be amanke la kodoti fontul fongol la kodo ikanana mune fonye iko womu pensionolde ngoy ko hani allowance wala amanke pensionolde because pensiono anin allowance o imanke ku kilindi yaje ibe mol filindi kanjanne ikalo e kafo mole ko pensiono le munyente amanke pensiono de allowance wala pensiono wala munyenti ko dokula ika fenne bola dokuoto ela dokutiyo ka fenne bola dokuoto aka maboye isaje ko niri i pension ta lummen iritayata lummen o kodo ika balu wala la fo wala mu ñin former presidents below ñinti ban hani pension mu walti momo be doku wala ila doku tiyo ibe me doku wala aka fenne bondi ila joto aka maboye karo kari fo janni ba fo ko be pension la ni pension te ikana balu wo pension wala mu pension woti ala wanso mu menti wala mu yekkodo cika yaadi mola pour dalilo kan yekkodo cika yaadi mola pour dalilo kan wala mu alawanso de comme ye alawanso di mola e kae dalasi mo ngofele luwolum ibe balu la nyina la dalasi mo ngofele waranto kodo ko e kae ko afele ibe balu la nyina la ibe dendi ko sanna nyina la ibe balu la nyina la andum ibe travel la nyina la ibe tamala nyina nyina mu alawanso de andum former president's bill amu alawanso ti amanke pension wote so ikana mol filindi bari ni man sakunda idalta gambia dingol filindol la ntol si menkeno wala mu kana ka bondi gambia dingol ye nyoto ando abala fa warata man sakunda le nyanta ka bondi gambia dingol ye nyoto man sakunda man nyanna ka gambia dingol filindi bari niye man sakunda kurungo soto ate pare la ka tilim ate pare la ka tonya sabatindi ibe nyin doron nekala ka banku dingol filindi doron isaje itol si balu nya kendola bari banku dingol wol sitara toro kam badi wol abala fa warata bake men ye nyim bilo nyim pass nte malon ikasino nyaadi le suto men ye nyim bilo pass nte malon e bafule dingol ye nyaadi le i mamadingol ye nyaadi le men ye nyim bilo pass nte malon ibe sino la nyaadi le gambe dingol jibe i nyaal kono kay tandi la ko na menke jang proud talale na menke jang ku kendole mo na menke jang banko la nafaale beje na menke jang banko dum la nafaale beje nte malon i bo justify no la nyaadi le badi mo ala baraka ngal ko ngal tento ngal badi ma alaji tour